Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are discussing our June Buddy Read thriller title. If you would like to see this in video format without the ad breaks, you'll need to head on over to Patreon to sign up. Along with ad-free video podcast episodes, you'll gain access to after shows, reading blogs, and other exclusive content. If you're not into Patreon and you happen to be listening on the Spreaker app, you too have access to the after shows and other exclusive content in audio only. If you prefer video, including reading vlogs, you should check out Patreon instead. Join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Clubs app for even more book chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Classy from the Bookish Virtual Assistant. Welcome back, Classy.
Hey, Tamara. Happy
weekday. Yeah. Happy weekday to you.
I'm not sure if we ever told them like when we record or whatever. And it's just like, happy weekday.
Yeah, we record in the middle of the week. Fun times. Okay, tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me at the Bookish Virtual Assistant on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and Classy Green on all those platforms as well.
All right. So before we jump into things, as always, I just want to remind you that with Book Chats, we talk full spoilers here. So you have been warned, spoiler alert. Today we are discussing the book She's Not Sorry, written by Mary Kubica. The audiobook is narrated by Andy Ardent, published April 2nd, 2024 by Park Row and Harlequin Audio. The hardcover is 330 pages and the unabridged audio is 10 hours and 32 minutes. Classy, would you kindly share the synopsis?
An ICU nurse accidentally uncovers a patient's frightening past in this chilling thriller. Megan Michaels is trying to find balance between being a single mom to a teenage daughter and working as a full-time nurse. While on duty at the hospital one day, a patient named Caitlin arrives in a coma with a traumatic brain injury, having jumped from a bridge and plunging over 20 feet to the train tracks below. But when a witness comes forward with shocking details about the fall, it calls everything they know into question. Was Caitlin pushed? And if so, by whom and why? Megan has always tried to stay emotionally detached from her patients, but this time she mistakenly lets herself get too close until she's deeply entangled in Caitlin's and her family's lives. Only when it's too late does she realize that she and her daughter could be the next victims. Huh. That's a little misleading.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Because I never really read the synopsis because we were just like, okay, well, let's try Miss Kubica.
You know, okay, so let's do. What did you think when you finished She's Not Sorry?
I was like, something wasn't right. Something didn't, and I know what wasn't right. I felt like how did I feel? Oh gosh. Okay, high level. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to like it.
Same. I thought that this was a disappointing show versus the book that we really liked. I thought, hey, she's back on the wagon. Yeah, this is going to be fabulous. And that's not what I got. I'm telling you, I feel like she nailed Local Woman Missing so well. And I'm not trying to be mean here, y'all. I'm really not. But she hasn't had a hit like that for me since The Good Girl.
Yeah.
So I've read several other books by her, but nothing hit since The Good Girl until Local Woman Missing. And there are a lot of books in between there.
Yeah. And The Good Girl, what did I give The Good Girl? I gave it 4.
Okay. I gave The Good Girl 5.
And I gave Local Woman Missing a 4 as well.
Me too.
But yeah, I felt like the prologue drew me in immediately. But then part 1 was dragging ass. It was just like, what the hell is going on? And I get that she is a local Illinoisan.
Yep.
She knows the Chicago area very well, and it was very obvious in this book because I felt like she gave us a fucking map of the city in part one. But it was so slow and drawn out, and action didn't really take place until, and I won't even say action at that 50% mark, when I think I told you like something kind of switched at the 50% mark, and I can't remember.
When I got to the 50% mark, I was like, what switched? What was Classy talking about?
I think at the 50% mark, I think that's when she told Nat, aka Caitlin, that big secret about
her
Sienna's daughter.
So you know what? Let me tell you, girl, the minute that came out her mouth, I said, why would you tell her that?
And I'm like, who in their right mind?
Why you haven't seen this woman, quote unquote, in 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, because she's 40, which high school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's got to be at least 20 something years.
What in your right mind thinks that was a good idea? Like, yeah, she's having her quote unquote drama now, but that doesn't mean you gotta tell her some deep dark secret. I would have made some shit up. I would have never.
Because here's the thing: if you are going to do apples to apples, and she's going through a traumatic situation in her marriage, okay, granted, divorce. Let's just talk about freaking divorce. You are telling this woman that your husband is not the father of your child. She is not your best friend who you've known for years. This is not confessional. You could have just said, you know what? Ben and I had, I think that was her husband. Ben and I had some rough patches. But to tell a woman, like you said, that you haven't talked to in over 20 years, that for a fact, I think.
Look, that is the secret you take to your grave. You don't tell anyone that. I don't care if they on their deathbed. You don't tell anyone that.
Until Mary Kubica shows up.
That was the dumbest thing that character did in this whole book. I could not understand.
No.
And I said, now she's got something on you. That's what I thought immediately.
Yep. And I'm just like, and her comment was, oh, that's so nice that you shared that with me.
I could not believe. I'm like, you are a dumb one.
I'm like, is she smoking crack? Like, something? Did we miss? Is she like one of them nurses that likes to take the patient's meds?
So Megan was dumb as rocks for most of this book. And she
a box of rocks, not just a rock, a box.
And the funny thing is, so there were several twists, right? The twists were there. I guessed I was not surprised by some of them. I guessed one of them, and the others, I don't think anything had my jaw on the ground. Nothing.
It was just like, tried. Oh.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, oh, shit.
Let's talk about some of the twists.
Yes, let's do that.
I did not write them down, so they're probably out of order. So the twist when we found out that old girl was Caitlin was the friend. What was the friend's name? What was she calling her? Nat. When she was chasing Nat after she saw her and she chased her down, like, give me my ring. I said, oh my fucking God. I knew, like, in that chase, because I knew, okay, so backing up, she got conned. She got conned on the phone for 10 grand with a fake kidnapping. I said, that's Nat. I knew it. I'm like, Nat did that. I said, Nat did it, or your fucking daughter did it, because she hates your guts. So I said, Nat or your daughter just got you for 10 grand. And I thought for sure maybe it was the daughter, because what adult only asked for 10 grand? But I'm like, it was one of those two. So after that, I already had doubts about the woman. And you know what else flagged me about Nat, quote unquote? When she's trying to reach out to her, she's doing it on Facebook. I'm like, this
You
bitch
didn't
was in
get
your
her
house.
phone number?
Right. I'm like, she's in your house and
And
you don't have
about
her
to stay
phone
with
number?
my daughter?
Girl, Facebook.
Girl, I was like, I
Like
know
that. Do you? She
old
dumb.
people like to use
She dumb as
Facebook,
hell.
but
No.
she just lost.
No.
For one, this is the thing, you are meticulous with your daughter
Mm-hmm.
about her contacts. But all of a sudden, when it comes to you and you're a single mom taking care of this young lady, you don't have any way of reaching a woman that you are about to leave your daughter in the care of.
Yes.
You're a fucking nurse. Not
Yes.
just
She's
a
dumb.
ICU nurse, and you don't have her phone number.
Those screws like just jingling around loose in her head because I'm like, that's dumb.
Girl, I'm not kidding. I'm like, she over there nipping off the meds.
This character, I mean, okay, so Nat had so many red flags, it wasn't even funny. So there was no surprise to me at all. The only thing that confused me, I was like, and I did not have time to go back and re-listen to the beginning.
I did.
But the timing seemed weird to me because like that happened on the front of the book. You know, she was brought in. And now it's like we're going back and telling the story because now we see how she, you know, fell. Like early on, we found out, oh, the police think she was pushed and she didn't jump. And now we see why and how and who.
Yeah. And she tried to do it cleverly with that part 2 where we find out that how she was pushed, because I think it happened. I wrote it down. It happened at like chapter 22, and I think there was like 35 chapters.
81%.
Yeah,
I marked it.
And it was
81%.
right. So she took her time. So basically, I want to say, dear reader. Okay, I was like, I want to do that, Bridgerton. Dearest reader, listeners. So basically, Mary Kubica is telling this story in the past until we get to the 81% mark. And the funny thing about this story, or I would say, I don't even want to call it funny, it's fucking weird because I won't curse. I'll try not to curse that much.
Girl, we curse on here. Who cares?
Because I text Tamara and I was like, is it me? Or maybe I started a chapter wrong, but I could swear I heard this part before. The prologue is played at the 81% mark exactly, except for it's extended. Yeah, I went back and listened.
Oh.
I went back and listened because it bugged me that much and I had enough time. So that part where where Sienna is kidnapped, blah blah blah. Yeah, that prologue is mentioned in the book, and then that part because she talks about her mammogram, but she said she had a doctor's appointment. She didn't mention the mammogram. She said she had a doctor's appointment.
She was late to work.
And she was late to work because the doctor's appointment was at 9:30. She usually doesn't schedule appointments on her days that she works. And she said she didn't get in until 12:30. But she said after what had happened, she walked the city for miles. So I'm thinking from the prologue part, I'm talking prologue now, that when she said, so when she got to work, she had to act like nothing was wrong or people would start asking her questions. I was under the assumption that it was related to Sienna getting kidnapped. You know what I mean? Because that's what had just happened. But in actuality, it was because she is the one who fucking
pushing people off of bridges. But you know what? Caitlin's ass deserved it.
I didn't feel sorry for her. Wait, as soon as she said, I'm going to tell that you a whore, she didn't even let whore get out her mouth. I was like, you damn right.
She deserved to get her ass. She was like...
I didn't feel sorry for it. That may have been the best part of the book. She deserved that slap. Damn. And she deserved that off balance. Now that I visualized.
The arms going like this
and trying to right yourself. You're like, help me. Be like, you should just pushed her right in the middle of her forehead. Bye, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, she thought she was going to get her offer by throwing the ring away. Like, fine, take your ring. And she flung it away. She might have been okay had she not started to call her a whore.
Poetic justice.
That is the last straw. We're not going to do that.
I just sat there like, mm-hmm. And then once I realized why she was in that coma, I was like, Between that and what she did to Milo.
So look, this part is what gave Caitlin away to me.
Okay,
That's
right, because we're
early.
still doing the twist.
Yeah, so when Milo says, Caitlin, okay, so two things. First, the daddy was like, Caitlin lied about, her mother
Abusing her.
Mm-hmm. Number one. Then she speaks to Milo, and Milo's like, that hoe put pornography on my computer, and I went to jail, and I lost my family, and she deserves to die, basically. And after that conversation, she says, and we don't know much else about Nat yet or Caitlin yet, but she says after that, when she walks away from Milo, she says, you know what? That doesn't surprise me after everything I've learned about her. And I'm like, well, what all did you learn about her at that time?
Exactly. Because you only know from her dad and Milo, basically.
Yeah. And so
maybe I think the brother kind of just said, I only came from my parents. But
right.
but that was very minimal to know
that
her character.
Is not ruining someone's life.
No.
Like that. So I'm like, well, the author kind of showed her hand right there. I'm like, okay. So we know Caitlin is dirty. And then you add up the fact that Nat's ass is acting, she is a ghost.
Yeah, who just shows up with a damn bag. This is the other thing that I knew too. Like, the city of Chicago is huge. We never knew exactly where her friend lived. Like, we knew the Hyde Park area as far as like her dad worked in that area or lived in that area. But wherever, what's her name? Megan lived. I don't think she didn't live in the fancier part of Chicago, like where that Hyde Park area is. And all of a sudden, Nat is walking down the street with a bag. And you just happen to see her?
She played her so bad.
Like a fiddle.
She a con artist, like a walking,
fiddle.
talking con artist. And
like a fiddle. So, and she looks so great. That's what she said about Nat. Yeah, she's fucking 8 years younger than you, for one.
Yes.
And she grew out her hair. And I mean, I know people do change, but I'm like, they must have looked pretty similar.
They had to have, because I'm like, is your memory that bad?
Yeah.
If I played a sport on a team with someone and they didn't look like what I thought they would look like. I mean, to be fair, yes, Nat threw out some names. Hey, have you talked to, she had the information.
Right.
To kind of sell it. But still, I'm like, you just don't welcome someone. Like, this is the same shit that happened in the other book we just got finished reading a couple months ago, where the woman's like, oh, you got beat up by your husband? Sure, come in my house. No, ho. Find you someplace to go. You're not coming in my house. No.
Yes, girl. Trying to find, yes. What was the name of that one?
None of this is true. That's what it is. None of this is true by Lisa Jewell.
We will find you an apartment. She's like, do you have money for a hotel? No, but maybe a hostel. Okay, I'll pay for one night.
I'll drop you off at the hostel, girl. I'll walk you there. Bye.
I kind of miss having someone at home. Not that much.
No.
I don't know you that well.
And stop telling everybody your daughter's not home. She is Captain Save-A-Ho in the dumbest way. Like, this character is so freaking stupid. She has the go ahead and take advantage of me stamped on her forehead. I can't.
Gullible as fuck.
Yeah.
Gullible as fuck.
Yeah. So, okay, another twist. See, there were a lot of twists.
Well, Mary thought they was.
Yes, Mary thought there was.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of twists. Okay, another one. Her friend at work. What's his freaking name?
Oh, Luke.
Luke. Okay, so I knew
Immediate.
something was. Yes, I knew something was wrong with his ass
Perfect
immediately. He was weird.
Man, my spidey senses went up ASAP.
Yes, I'm like something's wrong with him.
I was just, I and she thought it was endearing. Oh, he always checks on me and Sienna. Why?
Right? Why?
Why do you? How? Why?
You
Why
got
do
a
you,
pregnant wife at home. Leave me alone.
I just wonder about you guys because there's somebody in the city.
And she's like, that should not make me feel happy because he's married, but
But it's been a long time, and I could just imagine myself being.
girl.
It's like if you don't go sit down somewhere and go home. Yeah, you that horny? Jesus, come on.
She is that horny, apparently.
Yeah, he gave me, and there was just some other little things, like he always was in the cut listening to the gossip. Want to know why? Because he's trying to see what you guys know about the creeper that's attacking women. And then that other part, when she was walking home after the meeting with Nat and somebody is walking up on her and she can hear the footsteps and it's him. Yeah, because he was about to attack you, but he realized, oh shit, it's my neighbor, it's my coworker. That's what I thought.
Yes.
That she was going to be a victim, but he realized, oh wrong person. What did you think?
Well, I didn't think she was going to be a victim right then. I didn't, but I knew she was going to be a victim in some way. I just didn't know. I didn't think it was going to happen then.
But I knew that he was, when that happened, I knew he was right. Later on, I realized that. But when that happened, I realized he was the rapist.
Like, why are you running up on her?
Yeah.
Like, why are you out here? What are you doing?
Well, because she said even as women, we know when we start hearing, we're walking, and all of a sudden your steps are quick stepping, and then I step over to and I step over to the side so you can move, but you're not. That I know that you are on you are about to attack, or your motive is not because you're in a hurry,
right?
Because I just gave you an open path to get past me.
Yes.
So yeah, at that moment I didn't think that, but later on afterwards, but I knew, I was like, oh God, he's the fucking rapist.
And you know what else I knew immediately? So while they're sitting down and drinking the wine, so he invites her out for wine because my wife is being mean to me, blah, blah, blah. He lures her out. I'm like, okay, why are you going to hang? Okay.
Right.
So, and she's sitting there. I'm like, you better not tell your business to one more person. I swear to God, I thought that character was going to spill her guts again, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that phone rang, I said, that's his wife. You're not going to answer the phone. And she shows him the phone. I said, why are you showing him the phone? What is wrong with you? Why are you showing him the number on the phone?
Who is it? None of your business.
Right. What are you in my business for, dude?
I don't even know it.
She's so dumb. In that moment, before the minute he got up and left,
yeah,
I said, he's going for your daughter. Before she even answered the phone, I said, he is going for her because your ass is sitting right here with a new glass of wine. You's a dumb one. She's so stupid.
Yeah, and he knew that was his wife calling. Because you showed him the number. He recognized the number, and he was like, the gig is up.
He said, time to go.
Yep.
He's going to get up and leave and go get, That is, I think, my part of my issue with these quote unquote twists is that the character of Megan was so ridiculously stupid that the twists weren't even twist. It's like if you were any fucking dumber.
You walked into those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The only time she was smart was slapping the taste out of Caitlin's mouth. That was about the smartest that she got. But yeah, it was yeah, but the twists weren't
No,
like so spectacular that it was jaw dropping. Um, but like once I got there, I was like, oh, okay, so something's about to happen. And that's
yeah,
when I had told you, like, oh, about the 72% mark, things change.
yeah,
And it did, but it didn't like change to the point where it was just like, yeah, like I was on the edge of my seat. And I think too, because it took you that freaking long to get to the good part. And it
mm-hmm,
wasn't even that great.
yes,
Um, in the end, well, I won't even go that far because we have just so much to talk about. But I think too that just the near fact that you told this story in the past and then you
mm-hmm,
kind of switched it on us and you were telling it in the present, and I was just kind of like, is it me? And I told you, I said, maybe I missed something, but I
mm-hmm.
did not.
You did not.
No, she switched it to the present on us. Um, After we learned that she was the one who pushed Caitlin off the
Mm-hmm.
bridge.
Yeah.
And I won't even say she pushed her.
No, well, she did technically push her, but it was kind of an accident. It wasn't like it wasn't malice, right? She didn't say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna push this hoe off the bridge. It was like a tussle that kind of turned, and then just before you knew it, the girl was over the
Yeah, like how
bridge.
dare you? Now you from
Yeah.
the city, how dare you stand on the edge and talk shit?
Hmm. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you? But I mean, I don't know. I guess okay, so after the guy told her, after whatever his face was, said, if you, she is better off dead. Like, he basically threatened her to kill
Milo.
her,
Mm-hmm.
Milo. So after that, I said, she gonna kill her. I kind of felt like immediately she was gonna kill her.
Yeah, because
Like, there
she
was
even
no other
mentioned it. She's like,
choice.
if I didn't know any better, I think he wants me to kill her.
Yeah, like all she needed was the permission, I guess.
Yeah. Like she doesn't deserve to die. I mean, to live. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he knew she had the means. You're a
Mm-hmm.
nurse. It's so
Mm-hmm.
easy to do.
And I have to say though, now I know in book club we will talk about this because we have two doctors in our book
I
club,
know. I cannot wait.
and I feel like they will have some thoughts on how she went about murdering her, and if the likelihood of her getting away with that in the real world.
Yeah, because even though she said she accidentally, she gave her the wrong shot, I'm thinking in an investigation, she shot her more than once.
Mm-hmm.
So, like they would see pinpricks. You would think they would
I
do.
mean, can you give her a shot without removing the pin? Can you give her more than one without removing the pin?
No, I think you would,
No.
no, because you would have to shoot her once, take it out, and then shoot her again. Or did she like inject her?
See, I thought it was an auto eject or something because they weren't talking about pulling up a vial. It was just a pin that she was carrying. So can she just go click, click, click?
I don't know. I thought she said she did one in the arm and one near the. I don't know. But like we said, in book club, they will. And
They're
I
gonna break it
think
down.
Nikki listens. So Nikki, if you're listening, take
Mm-hmm.
note. But I thought she poked her more than once. Because I thought I
She
heard her say
did.
she went.
She overdosed her.
So
Um
maybe. But I
because she
thought like
wasn't
with those
sure.
pins, one click is a dose, I
It
thought.
is, but she overdosed her because she said, like, she went through the theory of how much it might take because different people respond to it differently. So she
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that there was no way she could be saved from it.
Right. And
So
she said
she
she did
did
like a
give her
decimal
more.
more, like a .5 more or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay. So yeah, so I'm not sure. I was under the assumption that she poked her twice.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe she didn't. Like you said, maybe it was more the double click had more insulin in it or not. But
Because I
yeah,
know
I'd be curious too.
She was even saying something about how Caitlin was like, she felt like she was trying to move away from her. She was trying to hold her arm.
Yeah.
So can you imagine Caitlin's laying there and she can't say anything? And she's like, this bitch trying to kill me. I know she's all there. She was all there.
Yeah, because she was coming around. Yeah.
Megan was hoping, well, maybe she'll be one of the ones that aren't there. Like they can't express themselves on the inside, but they're like in there. She kept hoping all these negative things would get her out of trying to kill this woman. Like, well, maybe she won't recover. Maybe she'll fall back. Maybe, maybe this, maybe that.
Yeah.
And no, she was definitely coming out of it. So she knew she had to like act fast because they were going to take her off of, they're going to wake her ass up fully. Like, yeah. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. And as a family member, knowing that because her parents were at home preparing for her to possibly come home, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have been like, no, we need to investigate. I need
They're
a
gonna wake
thorough,
her up.
and they had money. Oh, we need a thorough investigation.
See, the thing is this, though. I've got to wonder because what saved Megan is that the husband didn't really want to deal with that daughter. He didn't.
Nope.
The way he was talking to Megan about what she did to her mother and how he's trying to convince the mother to like leave and
just let it go.
He's like, this was a shame, but let it go.
Yeah.
He was not trying to pursue anything because she was not a good person and everyone in her family knew it.
Yeah. And he knew, like he said, if she doesn't make it, my wife might not make it. But he was at the point too that I think, like you were saying, that, hey, we'll just take our chances. I'll try and save my wife, but Caitlin is a lost cause. She's caused us enough heartache, and headaches, and apparently, I mean, she had a very troubled past. So, I don't think the father, and I think that probably helped solidify her decision as well. Like, I don't think too many people gonna miss her.
Yeah, let's just take care of this now. Like, it's not worth it. Okay, so let's take a quick break. You guys, by listening to these commercials, you are supporting the podcast. While you are listening to the break, please check out the book review journal available on Amazon. The link is in the show notes, and we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Okay, welcome back. I feel like Megan didn't have a choice but to kill her if she wanted to, like she said, go home to her daughter. So I think that was the most intelligent thing she said. She's like, this has to happen. And I think she obviously, according to the way that Kubica wrote it, that was the smartest thing that she did. I guess she knew her job at least because she got away with it.
Yeah, because she knew she had to confess. Or fess up basically and admit her wrong, and not lie about it, and she'll get a little slap on her wrist, but
stick to her story,
and it was her first time. But yeah, that probably, I mean, it's sad to say that the smartest thing she did besides slapping the shit out of Caitlin was killing her, because she just had too much on her between that, stealing the money. Stealing the money really wasn't as big as that big secret. Well, back up, Classy. The two big secrets. The secret of she pushed her and that she could go to jail. That was the big thing. Pushing her and she could go to jail for attempted murder or whatever they were going to charge her with. The secret about the parent thing.
That was big. I mean,
it was
her
big,
daughter,
but it was, and she could have, but yeah, I don't think she'd have lost her daughter, but yeah.
I mean, she almost did. I mean, the girl was acting wild.
Yeah, she was
She was
wilding out.
calling her a bitch and sending her like anonymous notes in the mailbox calling her a bitch. She was having a little boyfriend write her a mean, I know what you did last summer type note. Like, what the hell?
I was like,
She
child.
locking her mother in the basement in the dark. Like, oh my gosh,
But
she's
you know what? That
psycho.
seemed a little awkward to me with the basement thing. Because had she, I don't think, but again, Mary Kubica told this story awkwardly. I don't believe she had met up with Caitlin by then when she got locked in the basement. I don't, you know what I mean? Because I don't
Wait,
know. I
what?
can't remember, but I don't.
No, okay, so I think, this is what I remember, and I could be wrong, but I think that whole day she came home expecting for Nat to be there with her daughter, but instead her daughter was there with headphones on,
that
doing
was her.
work, and she said, "Oh, I need photos."
Okay, you're right. I think so. I
And
believe.
then she's like, "Okay, I'll go get them."
Mm-hmm.
So that was right after she had found out.
Yes.
Right after.
Okay. And I think at that point, because that wasn't after the Dear Hansen concert, was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So then if that was
Because
the case,
that's
then
how she
Caitlin probably had already told her, your mom's a trick. Your mom's a thought.
Well, at that point, when she got home, she knew she saw Caitlin, her daddy's girlfriend,
yes,
and not her.
Yeah, because she did mention that. Because she was like, Dad has a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Yep.
I mean, I can't believe she just didn't even like confront her mother the minute she walked in. Instead, she goes and gets her ass locked in the basement. Like, what kind of child thinks, teenager says, let me just lock my mom in this basement and who knows when she'll get out? That's really vindictive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you think about it, like at that age, even though her daughter was strong, would she have had the language to say, I know I'm not dad's? Well, you know what? She could have, but that would have been bad timing for this book.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked for Mary. But yeah, the arc the plot would have just totally changed. Yeah.
I don't know. That daughter did a lot, though. She did the most.
Yeah. You almost wonder, did Caitlin help her? Like, well, I don't know. She was a little sassy. The daughter was a little sassy, though.
And that's why I was like, did the daughter try to steal that money from her? I feel like the daughter would have tried to
set up her own
kidnapping to try to get 10,000 because she hates her. She hates her guts until she gets kidnapped and almost dies.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's
I'm
like,
sorry,
"Oh, mom, yeah."
And see,
let's not tell Dad.
And see, I thought her husband was in on it. Her ex-husband was in on the kidnapping.
No, I do think that the author played around with that. So I don't think it's very clear if he was or wasn't.
Yeah.
Because even Megan at the end was unclear if he was in on it or not.
Yeah.
Like when he gives her back her wedding ring, she couldn't connect the dots of how he got the wedding ring or when he got the wedding ring that was supposedly left at his house or found at his house.
Right.
So she's not entirely convinced that he is innocent at the end of this book.
No. And it was kind of like, I'll keep your secret. It's safe with me. And the reason why I say I have a feeling that he possibly was because when those text messages were coming in from quote unquote Declan and coming in rapid fire, and granted, she could have had another phone, and she's like, did someone help her? And I was like, was that Ben?
It could have been.
And remember, he was upset that he didn't get any of grandma's inheritance.
Yes, but I'm like, if he's so smart, he only went for 10 grand. It must have been a small inheritance. That's what I was thinking. Like, who just goes for 10 grand? And I thought if it was the husband, wouldn't he go for more?
Yeah.
That's why I think that
it might have been
he
the
wasn't
daughter.
Involved with that. I don't think he was involved with the money.
Okay.
I think that was just strictly Caitlin trying to get some money. So I think he was involved with parts, but not all. Like, I think maybe Caitlin was expressing that she was jealous. So he
Mm-hmm.
did volunteer some information about her,
Yeah.
served it up.
Nicely.
And yeah. So I don't know if he was malicious exactly, but I know he had a role in that. That I don't know if he was aware of what he was doing or not, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
Cuz
she did leave it a little open ended there where we weren't sure exactly um because like the messaging between um the daughter and Megan when she said, "Thanks for having your dad check on me," or texting your dad, and she's like, "I didn't."
she was lying.
Yeah.
So the daughter lie to your face. You
Yeah.
better look after that girl for now on, because she will straight lie to your face.
Yeah. For no reason.
Yeah,
Just to be malicious. But I mean she was trying to pay her back
she was
for this
bad.
is what I'm gonna get you. That's not my daddy. I'm gonna pay
So
you back.
that kind of proved that Ben wasn't there maliciously, because he was asked to check on her,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
that part kind of relieved him. Like, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think he was like 100% in on it. I feel like he had some role in it, that he might have been partially aware that his girlfriend was doing something mean to his ex,
Yeah.
because he has a short patience, like short temper. Like,
Yeah.
he's not a good person either. He's not a good guy, not really.
No, I am so glad. Now that was another thing that I was happy about, that she chose not to get back with him. Because when she
Mm-hmm.
realized in the heat of the moment, our daughter is calling and you are getting upset because you're not about to get any,
He's the same person.
boy,
He's the
bye.
same person you divorced.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people get divorced. Look, I am not a fan of second chance at love of someone you've divorced. You divorced them
For
for
a
a reason.
reason.
It's never going to be what you think it was. I
Mm-mm.
it never works out.
No. Yeah. But
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, but I did at one point. I'm like, maybe Ben is involved. And then when you say that too about Sienna and the fake kidnapping, I mean, these kids are so smart with
Mhm.
technology like that.
She could have done it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
I
she
mean,
didn't.
10
It was,
grand, she might have paid off the little boy. You write my mom these letters, we'll split the money.
I mean, 10 grand is a teenage amount of money to ask for. What full grown adult asks for 10 grand? I don't know. That's not going to get you very far for all of the crimes you're committing. The 10 grand
Yeah,
may not be worth it.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of little things that didn't wrap up well at the end of this story. Like, like even Luke's storyline, like what was his arc for? Like, what was the
It
whole
was
purpose?
pointless.
It was. And I mean, I don't know if she was trying to do the little red herring thing, but at the end, in the way it ended, I was just like, I could have did without him. I think
I
she could have
think,
used some that 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 storyline or that extra wordage to wrap this shit up better.
honestly, that could have been a story on its own, like a serial killer husband
Mhm.
because I read that story before. I read it before, where, the husband turns out to be a serial killer and the wife had no clue.
Yeah,
I read that.
and it's the regular degular guy who lives the I mean, look at the architect in New York that's, they uncovered I can't remember the big case out there. Is it he's an architect and he was going on all these dates and was killing these women and burying them near the beach or something? Is that the
Mhm.
one? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, wasn't that
It was they discovered him.
the nicest couple? Was that? No, not that.
Oh,
Nope,
no, I'm
nope, nope.
talking
It
real
was.
life. I'm talking real life.
Oh, no,
The
I don't know
nicest
it then.
couple.
No, I'm
Oh,
thinking of a different
something
name.
marriage. No?
It's so long ago. It was kind of like that. He was killing people.
Yeah, she didn't
Something.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I was just saying in
No.
real life, you have these people who are just the next door neighbor, regular job, goes to work every day, says hello to the neighbors, helps them with blah, blah, blah. And he's out here
Yeah.
killing women.
Wow.
Yeah. But no, yeah.
See,
But
I
yeah.
think coming back to like this book, I think the biggest problem was that it took so long for things to start getting traction, like almost 75% of the book,
Mm-hmm.
that it was hard to tell what exactly the
Where is it
story
going?
was.
Yeah, where she's going with this.
And that's too long to make us wait to figure out what this was. I mean, it was a lot of things happening, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things, a lot of, drama, but there was like no suspense, no thriller. It was like just a bunch of things. And then it just took forever to get to the point.
It was a yawn fest.
It was. And if I wasn't doing this for the podcast, I'm not sure if I was doing this on my own, I might have DNF'd it because it took a long time
It
and that's
did.
way too long. Me, I don't 50%. That's the sweet spot. 50 or 55%.
Yeah.
Give me something
Yeah. And I
by
was excited
then.
because of the prologue. And I was like, ooh, okay. But like you were saying, if it wasn't for podcasts, it was just like, okay. And I've listened to this. Like when I told you that part, I had started listening to this. I was going to an event in Chicago.
Mhm.
So I started listening. And at one point, it had lulled me to a point
Mhm.
where, like when you're driving, you can almost, when you're driving at a decent pace and just is constant and nothing's changing, I get hypnotized. And it's to a point where I was like, I need to listen to some music because now,
Mm.
and that's how I felt with this book. And I wind up turning it off and
Mhm.
listening to music. And then I was
Mhm.
like, okay, so after the event, I'll listen again. Cause now, my body's a little, and that's when it got to that part. And that's when I had text you and I was like, okay, so things change a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, that is a long ass time for you. Cause I was like, okay,
Yeah.
she's laying the groundwork.
It's a lot
But
of
the
groundwork.
groundwork that she laid still didn't wrap up. Like even
Mhm.
Luke's story, even if she would have made Luke like the person pretending to kidnap Sienna, because he knew her damn schedule just like everybody else. And
Mhm.
maybe Caitlin knew about it or, but none of that tied up.
Honestly, I think Luke is not the only. That was one of the reasons why she got away with it. The timing of Luke. Can you imagine that hospital? They're like, oh my God, one of our nurses is a fucking serial killer. Let's push this other shit through. We got to deal
Yeah.
with this drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like
A
even when she came
PR
back to work.
mess. A
Yeah.
PR
A
mess.
PR mess. And even all of her coworkers, they weren't even talking about her ass. They like, Luke, when she got
Mm-hmm.
back to work.
Yeah, how Sienna Lou? Yeah, but he was. Oh, yeah, but it was. It was just too many little subplots, and they did not wrap up good for me. And yeah, it just became.
She was doing too many
Yeah,
things.
and that's that thing we mentioned too. Like I know she's good for trying to. She'll like give us one little. Like she'll dangle one. Like I'll give you guys that one, but ooh, I'm gonna catch you with this one, and this it didn't work. It didn't
She
work.
has squirrel problems in this book. She's like, squirrel, this way, that way, this way. I don't know what I want to do. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's too much. It was too much. We needed a lot. We needed to be focused, more honed in, like figuring out. I don't know. It was just too many things. And it took too long to start revealing the things and making it feel like it was worth the time investment.
Yeah, 10 hours?
Yeah, I listened to that on like 1.7. I was like, let me get through this like quickly.
Yeah, that was a lot of time that I can't get back. Well, I never can get anything back with books or reading anyway, but still, it was just like you said,
Hmm.
if this wasn't for podcasts, I don't know if I would
Yeah.
have finished it either.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Because, like I said, coming off of the last book I read from her that I really, really liked. So I feel like, unfortunately for me, Kubica has become a hit or miss type of author for me.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what it would take for me to jump on the bandwagon to do another one of hers for the podcast because it's just the swings are so vast. The pendulum swings back and forth so extremely on her books.
Mhm.
I don't know.
And even like the ratings are still like what a 3.83.
So
On
this book,
Goodreads.
this book came out April 2nd, so it's a couple months old right now.
Okay, so it's still pretty fresh.
So it's like 2 months old,
Mm.
and it has 3.83 with 34, almost 35,000 ratings.
Okay.
So, but in the scheme of things, that's not a lot.
Yeah,
It's
for
not
2
a lot.
months.
When we look at local woman missing, 450,000 ratings.
But that was how many years ago?
I know that was in 21, so
Yeah.
that was 4 years ago. But that was her most read book. Like if you stack all of her books,
Mhm.
on that page, that was her most read book, period.
Okay.
The Good Girl was her second most read book at 200, or rated book. I'll say that, rated book.
Mhm.
That says a lot to me. That says a lot that people aren't rating this, and it's 2 months old.
Yeah.
And she is an author with a lot of books. She's not brand spanking new to the, you know what I mean? So it just, I don't think a lot of people liked it. I don't.
Yeah, and the average rating. Yeah. Says what? She has less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it looks like she has 11 books possibly under her belt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think too, because of her name, and that she's had, the Netflix movie made out of one of her books, that she kind of can get some of these.
What was the Netflix movie of her book? What was it?
Wasn't it The Good Girl?
They did that?
That's not her?
I didn't know they did a movie called The Good
Maybe it's not
Girl.
her. Maybe I'm confusing her with somebody else. Who was the one with Mila?
Who?
Mila Kuwana. Come on, Classy. What's the lady?
Oh, Luckiest Girl Alive?
Luckiest. I'm confusing the two.
That's Jessica Knoll.
I'm confusing the two.
Okay, yeah.
Confusing the two. But okay. All right, then. That's it. I've just confused the two.
Okay, so let's see. There's an article here that came out in 2019 that Netflix made a film deal for The Other Misses.
The Other Misses.
But obviously that was in 2019. It must be dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything else.
Yeah.
So it's either dead or they're still trying to flesh it out or something. I haven't heard a thing. And I did not read The Other Misses. So
yeah, neither did I. Like I said, I only read The Good Girl and Local Woman Missing, and then this one. So 3 books. But I think I'm like you, that I think she is so hit or miss that if I do decide to read something by her, I would probably give it maybe a year to kind of settle in, to kind of see how the ratings really are, like let it kind of settle down, all the hype and all the arcs, and everything's out there, because most of the time when the arcs come out, people are, oh, I love it, thank you NetGalley, thank you Idleweiss, and then all the honest people
exactly
start factoring in, and that bell curve that curve starts curving.
It starts flattening out. Because once the normal people who pay for it get their hands on it, they're more honest.
Yeah, because that's what they do. They give you the arc to get that immediate hype, so people can buy, and then the honest reviews start coming out. So I think, like you said, if another one comes out, I will definitely wait, or she just won't get another read from me.
I feel like if I were to try her again, it would have to be on my own. And then if I loved it, and let's say I read it and you hadn't, I'd propose it if I read it and loved it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't just blindly pick her again for the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we tried. That's kind of like with, another author of ours that we were like, it's been a couple that we got that we're just like, we're good.
Yeah. Like, what's going on? So, but I thought the narrator did okay, though. Did you like the narrator?
I liked her. Yeah, I did like the narrator. I think she did a great job with all the voices. I could tell the difference. I felt like she did a great job with the male voices. Even the daughter. Wait, did the daughter have a voice, or did she just say in second person? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I think that's what it was. I don't think she was ever
Yeah,
in
I
the
think it was
driver's
just more
seat.
sassy. The mother talk,
Yeah.
yeah, because she was the main voice. But yeah, I enjoyed her. I had no issues at all with her voice, her
Yeah,
narration.
I agree. The narrator was solid. The book was fine. It was fine. So let's go ahead and rate it. You already know what I'm going to say. If y'all listen to this podcast for any amount of time, when I start saying something is fine, you already know what it is. You already know.
A 3.
A 3, yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst book I ever read, but there was a lot that could have been improved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was bordering on that too. But it's like, okay, 3. But yeah, I don't, like you said, unless I read it on my own and I just find her next book or next to be outstanding. She up there with Riley Sager.
Look, it's definitely going to be a book that I'm going to listen to for free on Spotify, or it better be included on Everrand. I'm not buying an Audible credit.
No, not at all.
It's going to have to be a free place for me to partake.
Thank you.
I'm going to do it.
Girl, because them little Audible credits, whew.
Oh my God, Audible credits. Let's talk about that in the after show too. Oh my God, Audible credits.
I didn't know they expire.
I didn't either. And I got 4 of them mugs.
Yeah, I think like I did something. Yeah, we'll talk about that on the after show.
So, okay, I think we're done with this book. What do you think?
Done. Finito.
We are finito. Okay, we have not pulled out the we didn't do the next quarter yet officially, did we? No. So I can't announce what the next book is like I usually do at the end. So you've got to follow me on Facebook or X or wherever you get your information from me, or join on book clubs or Patreon. I usually tell the Patreon people first. They usually get it before everyone else. If you want to know what we're reading next, so you can read along. And I think we're going to end things there. It's been a fun conversation. Thank you for listening to the entire episode. Let us know what you thought of this book if you've read it. Are we off base according to you, or did we kind of hit the bullseye? What do you think? Let us know. So that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.